The Book of Jonah. The Book of Jonah is a four-chapter book revolving around the prophet Jonah and his mission given to him by God. There are four chapters in this book in which all chapters have a specific theme. Chapter 1, Rebellion and God's Sovereignty. Chapter 2, Repentance and Deliverance. Chapter 3, Obedience and Mercy. Chapter 4, Compassion and Self-Righteousness. In Chapter 1, God gives Jonah a mission to travel to Nineveh to warn the people of their wickedness, and if they decide not to change, God will destroy their city. Instead of doing what he is told, Jonah chooses to disobey God's orders and tries to run to the city of Tarshish with sailors. God didn't like that Jonah tried to run away and sent great winds to almost destroy the ship that Jonah and the sailors was on. This frightened the sailors, and after realizing Jonah was unfazed, the sailors forced Jonah to reveal his identity. After they realized that Jonah disobeyed God, they started praying to God themselves, asking for mercy on their souls, in which they did not care for at first until revealed. After they found out who Jonah was serving, they threw him overboard, saving themselves and continuing to pray to God. We see the theme here is God's sovereignty, by not allowing Jonah to run away and refusing his mission, and rebellion due to Jonah going against God's orders. In chapter 2, after Jonah is thrown overboard, he is swallowed by a great fish sent by God for 3 days and 3 nights. During these 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah was in constant prayer, asking God for forgiveness after disobeying God's mission. God heard Jonah's cries and prayers and forgave him, releasing him from his fishy prison, starting to make his way to Nineveh. In this chapter, we see the key themes are repentance and deliverance, because after Jonah repented for what God forgave him and gave him deliverance. In chapter 3, Jonah arrives at Nineveh and begins to announce God's words and actions that he will unleash because of their wickedness. When the people first hear this, they immediately fall into prayer, begging God for forgiveness and mercy at his will because of his warning. After the people of Nineveh heard Jonah's message, the king soon caught word, and without hesitation, he threw off his robe in a sign of putting aside his status, covered himself in sackcloth, sat in ashes, showing a sign of grief and humility before God, and issued a public decree stating that all people must fast for no food or water, not even a taste in their mouths. Everyone must wear sackcloth, including animals. People were to call out to God earnestly, and they were to turn from their evil ways and violence. The theme in this chapter is obedience and mercy, because after the people of Nineveh hear God's warning, they all started praying to God, asking for mercy. And after the king, the ruler of Nineveh, with his powerful status, after he heard this, he became immediately obedient to God and did the most they could to show obedience. In chapter 4, after Jonah's mission is complete, he asks God, why is he showing mercy to the city, forgiveness, instead of just destroying the city? In which God doesn't argue with Jonah, but instead asks one question: do you do well to be angry? The following night, Jonah builds a shelter, hoping that the city would be destroyed the following day, in which God grows a plant over Jonah, giving him shade, and this made Jonah happy. But the following day, God sends a worm to destroy that very plant that he built and sends scorching winds. God's final words to Jonah in this chapter are, you pity the plant for which you did not labor. Should not I pity Nineveh, in which they are more than 1,200,000 people who do not know their right hand from their left? The theme here is God's compassion is unmatched, even for the wicked, and his justice is tempered by mercy. Within these 4 chapters, very interesting characters are the king, the sailors, the people. The reason I say that these characters are important because they don't exactly serve a god, at least not that we know of, but when they immediately hear of which Jonah did and who he is disobeying the Lord, they immediately become scared and frightened, as which they start praying to God, begging for mercy on their behalf. This is interesting to me.